there, Bantam, Tower, Caracal, Hurricane, and Scorpion. They're kind of at staggered ranges a little bit. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, they all came in actually around 30, with their frigate coming in at 50. Brett, what did Footwork bring?
Footwork had brought APOC, Prophecy, Org, Argos, Tristan. I think everybody's warped in at 50, but this APOC seems to be sitting at a different angle than the rest of the team. I think that may be a slight problem, but we'll get that fixed in a minute. They've all come in at range, and they're all kind of sitting there because that's exactly what they want. They want to sit at a long range with this massive fire platform that's the APOC and just blap everything. Blap all the small shit like the Bantam, and the Tower and the Caracal.
Yeah, right now our ref is giving these teams a decision on what they want to do with this APOC warping. CCP's tool did kind of have a bit of a hiccup earlier in the match as we tried to get on before it started. But it looks like they're going to have this APOC just reset real quick, so he'll be with the rest of his team instead of at a strange angle. You definitely don't want your APOC sitting out front and getting plowed on with DPS. So we're going to go in a couple minutes as soon as this APOC can sort of reset himself. But man, this is going to be a really interesting match in terms of target calling, as we were talking about before the match began. What do you think is going to be like the play to watch out for? Like, who do we have to watch out for? What's going to happen first? And what are the decisions that Footwork have to juggle here?
I think no matter how this match goes, that Scorpion's going to have a lot of fun. It's just going to sit there and go, you don't get to do anything. You don't get to do anything. And just pick people and stop them having a lot of fun. I think you're going to have to watch out for his jams, because it's very important to see how he does. Because if he throws all his jams on at once, he's going to waste a couple of them. The best things and the best people who do fly the Scorpions kind of stagger their jams. They drop the first one to see if that jams, second one to see if that jams, so that any extra jams, they can pick a different person and they can have a chance at jamming them, which spreads out the probability of them successfully landing jams.
Yeah, what goes on when you're a pilot in an ECM sort of setup is you wait for your boost to kick in, you overheat your multi-specs, or at least a few of them, and then you just apply them one by one, as you were saying. So best case scenario for this Templis team is they get a jam on the Footwork Augur real fast, and then he's able to jam possibly the Algos and the Tristan, or just the Tristan, and then leave a few in reserve. I think the game plan here is just to never try and jam this APOC. Because he's going to be a pain in the butt to jam. You're going to have to just be sitting on a horseshoe. So I'm pretty sure the play is just to jam the small stuff and the Logi, just so you don't have to worry about webs or links or anything like that. And I mean, if you do jam this Algos and Tristan really early on, they're not going to be able to get their Logi drones out to do anything, right? So that's kind of like a little hidden gameplay here if they can jam that pretty early on. Obviously, if they miss the first jam, these guys are the Footwork team are gonna have to throw their Logi drones on real quick for who they think the primary is gonna be. But you cannot assist logistics drones. So, with that said, the match is starting in 30 seconds. The Footwork team in blue and the Templis team in red. Can't wait to see how this goes on and what decisions we get to see from this Scorpion. The last Spartan is Templis' team captain, so he knew exactly what he was getting into when he picked the Scorpion. And I believe he's flown the Scorpion before.
So the match gets underway.
All right, now the Scorpion is trying to lock on that stuff right now. We'll see who he jams, and we'll see what's going on. Both teams are kind of sitting and not doing anything. Algos from the Footwork team is taking a little bit of damage early on from this Hurricane. And yep, there we go. The Augur is getting a jam attempt going on right now. And the last Spartan is, mixing it up a little bit and throwing a jam on the APOC as well, just to see if he gets a lucky jam on that right now.
There's also a jam on the Tristan as well. As we see this, Algos is dropping down and is not receiving reps. It looks like that Augur got successfully jammed, and this Algos is just sitting there with no help.
Yep, there it goes. The Algos gets blapped by this Hurricane and Tower combined. That is a lot, or Hurricane, Caracal, and Tower combined. That is a lot of alpha damage. And we see some medium armor rep bots from the Footwork team are actually going out and attacking the Templis team by mistake, possibly a jam jam mistake going on now, but he is helping his this Caracal right now with these armor rep bots. As you can see, the Caracal is getting armor reps. But bam! That Tristan just got volleyed by this Caracal, Tower, and Hurricane. It's looking real good from Templis early on. The jams were in their favor, and it looks like the Apocalypse cannot even get his guns to fire anything right now. The attack bar for Footwork is just empty, so the APOC is jammed. Templis isn't even trying to jam the Augur anymore. They're just going straight for this APOC.
Yeah, as you can see, what you called up before has happened. The Scorpion, or the Prophecy probably, has brought tracking disrupt drones and is just dropping that on the APOC. So the APOC's gone from a ridiculous amount of tracking with that Tristan to having no tracking with these TD drones on them. And this Augur is now dropping into armor. It looks like it's being shot by the Cane and the Caracal. As you can see, the Caracal's probably hit reload as that ridiculous amount of damage has all of a sudden stopped. And their attack bar is almost nothing while they try and pilot into range.
Yeah, you can see the attack bar. If you guys aren't familiar with this format, the gray part of the attack bar is the potential amount of damage that you can apply, and the filled-in part, which would be in red, is how much is being applied at the moment. As you can see, no one from either side is shooting right now. Templis is using a little bit of guns, but they are probably waiting for their Caracal to reload because you want to hit with a united front when you have this type of setup. And man, these tracking disruptor drones are actually getting shot off by this Prophecy, so the tracking disruptor drones are now all dead. A good heads-up play by Footwork, knowing exactly what to do, but you know, their Augur is going down, right, pretty hard. Yeah,
this Augur is just eating damage from this Caracal Cane. And the Scorpion's firing crews, whereas the Augur will be afterburner, so the damage there is not going to be very much. But with the rapid light spam from both the Caracal and the Tower is just going to slowly melt it over time. As you can see, the attack bar is just increased, so the Caracal and the Tower can finally shoot.
Yeah, really good target calling by this Templis team. You know, being able to adapt to the situation as it happened. They knew they got that early jam off, and so they said, you know what, we're going to take this Algos and Tristan down so they can't do any of their drones or any of their utility. And the match has gone on. This APOC has not been able to fire. He's either been jammed or tracking disrupted when he wasn't jammed. So the attack bar for the Footwork team has been 0 for the last 2 minutes. This has got to be the most frustrating thing in the world, and not being able to do anything at all, as Footwork is just relegated to having an APOC and Prophecy, and that is it. And you know, with an ECM team, it does snowball. So the more ships you remove, the more effective your jams are because there are fewer targets to put them on. You know, Templis is just saying, you know what, I'm just putting everything on this APOC. There's a 50% chance it's going to get jammed, so you know what? That 50% has been closer to 80%, it feels. And this poor APOC has not been able to do jack.
Yeah, as it seems like the teams have finally swapped off this Caracal and are now trying to shoot the Tower. It's got a load of Acolyte ones on it, and this Prophecy has rapid lights that's trying to shoot. And this Tower is just drifting into like 60% shields and then just getting wrecked right back up from the Bantam.
Yeah, this Tower, without being tackled or anything, with its micro drive bonus as these destroyers do get, it's going to be a hard target to hit. It can just run out of damage, and it can actually kill these acolytes really, really fast with its drones or with its missile spam. So Tower, it's going to be a bit of a desperation play from Footwork just to try and avoid a domination defeat, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen for them. And their Prophecy is dying very slowly, but it's still going down.
Here's how bad the jams on the APOC has been. Since we mentioned they started shooting the Tower, it has only just been able to lock it and assign its drones.
That has got to be the worst feeling in the world. And as someone who has been jammed for an entire AT match before, I can confirm that is the second to worst feeling in the world. The first, of course, being driving your team out of the arena. But now it looks like Templis is taking a little bit of damage on their Caracal. Footwork maybe just been able to fire very shortly, but it's going to be too little too late. The last Spartan actually apologizing local for essentially perma-jamming the entire Footwork team. Really great decision making. As we said earlier, I mean, you can't just have a fixed game plan going in. You have to be able to adapt based on what happens. And you know what, the last Spartan, he got that Augur jam, he got that Tristan jam, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to try this APOC. And it just worked perfectly. They changed their primaries on the fly, and this prophecy is down, and this APOC has now lost all hope. Like, he's not going to be able to do anything.
I mean, unless the Scorpion by some miracle burns out its ECM, this APOC's just going to probably sit there and do nothing. It has nobody it can now even assist its drones to hopefully whore on a kill.
Yeah, all the drones are sitting doing nothing right now. There are just Praetor 1s doing absolutely nothing, 0 speed. The APOC did just now get a lock on something and threw some acolytes out, and is now firing, so the APOC finally, after 7 minutes, is able to fire its guns for a few seconds, and we can see that the Caracal is taking a little bit of damage here. Let's see how long this poor guy can shoot for. This Scorpion must feel, maybe he's feeling a little bit of pity and said, you know what, I won't jam you that this time. You get away with one. Everybody gets one.
So this APOC is now just dripping into armor. The not amazing amount of DPS.
Oh, he's jammed again.
Yeah, the not amazing amount of DPS on the Templis team is still just chipping away at this APOC. It's got its large ancillary armor rep just sitting there trying to keep it alive and gets jammed, and he has to sit there doing nothing as it starts to go into structure.
Yep, so he had about 40 seconds combined of firing in this match. I think there were 3 times where he wasn't jammed, and that entire time he was locking for 10 seconds and then firing for 10 seconds and getting jammed. Feels real bad for Miss Floydy, but you know what? Templis managed to pull this off with their Scorpion team. They knew what they were doing early on. They had this little pocket strat going, and just kind of caught Footwork by surprise just a little bit with this. I don't want to call it a cheese strat, but it is definitely a pocket strat that they pulled out here. And good job for Templis taking a domination victory, getting them 4 league points instead of standard 3 points. That's really going to help them out, because Sudden Otters has been racking up these domination point victories, and they've been kind of piling up a few point lead until they lost a match earlier today. So these domination points will help them out a lot. Congrats to Templis with a perfectly flown Scorpion ECM setup. Feels bad for Footwork, sorry guys, but you don't get to lock today. And we'll send it back to the boys in the studio.